make fathers look good. I brought along a slide today to give you my impression of fatherhood. Would you put that up on the screen, please? That's me. It says I'm waiting for my next electric shock treatment. Fatherhood came off of sudden to me. I was just a young man, had my own apartment, had a nice job, had a good-looking girlfriend, and things were going good. Then all of a sudden I got a letter from Uncle Sam that said, "You're drafted." And I was going to spend 2 years away. And so the night before I went in, I'm talking to my girlfriend, and she says, "I have to ask you a question." And I said, "What's that?" She said, "I want to know your intentions." I said, "Well, they're honorable." She said, "I want to know more." And I said, "I intend to marry." And she said, "Well, good, I'll wait 2 years." I said, "Thank you." 8 weeks later, we were married. I had no intention of being a father that soon. But a year later, she goes to the Army hospital. Now, we are two young people. We are 700 miles away from home. Nobody that we know of. No books to tell you how to be a dad or a mom. And she goes to the Army hospital to have this baby boy. I'm waiting in the waiting room, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited. I got up and I went out, and I had a glass of pop and a donut, and I came back, and I waited another 2 hours to find the nurse come out. I said, "Well, what's going on in there?" Well, she said, "She had the baby 3 hours ago. Did anybody tell you?" I said, "No." And so I was introduced to this little bundle of skin with a big mouth and a stinky bottom. And that was our baby. I want you to know that that baby survived that first year. That was unbelievable. This one night, I was sleeping, and Caroline wakes me up, and we're living in a trailer. And she says, "It's raining out." I said, "Would you go check the baby and see how he is? Did you close the vent over on the roof?" I said, "I don't know." She will go look. And so I go out there, and sure enough, that vent's open. I look down. Boy, that boy is in an inch of water. and then the water said, "What's he doing?" I said, "He's doing the backstroke." I'll tell you, fatherhood was just great. Oh. Well, as it would progress, we got out of the Army, and we moved to this little town in Pennsylvania. And in 4 years, I've got 3 boys. And now I am a father. Whew. Well, the 5th year of fatherhood, things changed. Because I was saved, moved across the street from the Alliance Church in that little town, and them crazy people, they sang with the windows open all summer long. I heard the Amazing Grace, just everyone of them hymns. And every now and then they send the old convert town drunk over to talk to me on the front porch. I really didn't want to be second. I knew he was the town drunk, but he was cleaned up. So I said, "Jim, you're going to talk to me, you're going to make a bigger house. I'm not sitting out here listening about Jesus around bigger." And I'm that kind of guy. Well, we did decide to send the children to Sunday school. Thought it'd be good for them. And one Sunday, my oldest son, he was 4 at the time, come home. "Daddy, Daddy," he said, "you got to go to Sunday school." I said, "Why?" He said, "We're having a contest. My teacher says you got to be there." And I looked down and I said, "Son, I can't go." And I couldn't. I had a reserve meeting that next Sunday. I was in the Army. And you know what? He cried. Well, that did something to me. 2 weeks later, I was saved at an altar in the Baptist church. And fatherhood was different after that. Our main goal then was that they know Jesus Christ. and we dedicated our lives to the same that they did. The 5th year, they had a drug problem. I drug them to Sunday school, and I drug them to church. I drug them to prayer meeting, and I drug them to youth meetings. Boy, they were drugged. But you know what? Each and every one of them got to know Jesus Christ through those efforts. Things were not always smooth. We moved to Connecticut, and by this time Bob's about, 10, 11. And first day of school, he comes home and he's crying. And I said, what happened there? He said, well, 2 boys beat me up when I got off the bus. I said, okay. So he goes in his room. He's not hurt, he's mad. Comes back out and he's got his old clothes on, he's starting out to go and I says, where are you going? He says, I'm going to go get him. She said, you get back in the house. I said, no, you let him go. But when he marched across the street, he rapped on the door, he beat the snot out of that kid. He walked across the street, rapped on the door, and beat the snot out of it. And I said, is this the Christian way? I said, no, this is. But I said, he has a reputation of being the meanest kid in his block. Ain't nobody gonna touch him again. Well, how do you know that? I said, I moved every 2 years. I said, I was always a new kid in the block. I know what goes on. So then one morning, just bright and early, I'm getting up and I'm getting in my car, and the neighbor across the street says, Mr. Cameron, I want to talk to you. I said, yes, sir. And I'm going out the road, he said, I'm going to beat the snot out of you. Now, he didn't use the word snot, but you know what he meant. And I said, well, I said, why would you want to do that? He said, your boy, Bob. I said, what did you do? What was the day after Halloween? He said, he broke my boy's pumpkin. I said, yeah, he probably did. I said, I know that. He said, then he put dirt in my gas tank. I said, no, he didn't do that. That boy's mechanical, he wouldn't do that. And he wouldn't calm down. He said, he said, I shot a lot of people in the war. He said, I would get my gun and shoot you. I said, well, go get your gun. And I'll get mine and we'll settle it right here in the street. Well, it wasn't exactly the Christian approach, but I didn't know what to do at that time. Well, his wife got and dragged him off the street. I couldn't wait for Bob to get home that night. So you're going to apologize to him for breaking the pumpkins. You're going to confess that you did not put the dirt in his gas tank. He said, I did. I said, you're going to come back here and then I'm going to deal with you. I said, what you put me through this morning was not good. Well, you know what? We learned to fish together. An amazing thing, I read a book on cleaning fish. And I had Bob read it, I ain't never cleaned a fish in my life. That boy's cleaned every fish we ever caught. Yeah, and then we started hunting, and I read a book on cleaning deer, and I never cleaned a deer. Bob and Mike cleaned every deer I ever shot. I was that a good father. I'm telling you. We have had a lot of fun. Of course, now there's grandchildren, and things change, I spent years looking after them, and now they're looking after me. I know when I'm out in my hunting stand, and if I'm late for breakfast, they'll send Andrew out to check and see if I'm either sleeping or I die. Now, if I die, it's because I was close to heaven as I'm going to get. It's just a short step. But 9 chance out of 10, I'm sleeping. I've got the most comfortable lean back chair in that thing, and I'm snoozed. But you know what? The last 5 years, I have gotten the biggest deer that's ever been gotten out there. And them young whippersnappers can't beat it. I'm a tall cop. Now, we learned a long time ago that we tell each other often that we love them. Now, my dad never told me he loved me. Now, back then, they didn't do that. Now, you did love me. They never told me. And I decided that when my sons came along, I was going to tell them I love them. I wanted to know that. I told my mother when she was 68 years old for the first time in my life I loved her. She cried. Fatherhood has been good. Okay? It's been good. Grandfatherhood's great. And great-grandfather, I'm just getting into it, but it's fun. So, I'll leave you with just one last little gem. Dads, your first responsibility is to see that that child knows Jesus Christ. That's your job. Everything else is superficial. You can put the food on the table, you can put a head and shelter over them, but unless they know Jesus Christ, it's for waste. They need to know. And later on, they will be a blessing to